Hello everybody and a good afternoon from Dortmund at the SimRacing Expo. Welcome to RENNSPORT's daily competition here on Sunday at the SimRacing Expo. Glad to have you along. My name's Ewan, not joined by Arjuna Kankipati today, joined by R1 driver Jamie Fluke alongside me. Good to have you alongside me, Jamie. Thanks very much for joining me. It's the daily competition here from RENNSPORT as we celebrate crossplay coming to RENNSPORT in just 25 days' time on Xbox and PlayStation, alongside PC as well. DLC's coming soon. Lots to look forward to here on RENNSPORT, but very pleased you're along with us here for our stream on Sunday. The drivers are out there just on practice session at the moment. Qualifying will begin very, very shortly with our first semi-final. But Jamie, thanks for joining me. It's great to have you alongside me. Last time we saw each other, it was the Esports World Cup in Riyadh, and yeah, it was obviously not your week necessarily, but how was the event as a whole, as a sort of looking back on it from a more neutral perspective?
Yeah, not that I've had a little bit more time to sort of digest what had happened. It was still a really great event to be a part of. A special week out there. It's always really good fun to be out in Riyadh. And okay, yes, the results weren't ideal. Performances from all of us, or from all of our perspective, wasn't ideal, wasn't great. But we knuckled down and we'll go again.
Absolutely, and always the next competition to look forward to. Competition here today, just to explain, is a sort of, I would say, a mini R1, if you like. We used to do this from offline, have quarter-final, semi-final, final on one night. We've just got a semi-final and a final here. There's 9 drivers currently practicing out there at the moment. 4 drivers should go through from the first one, 5 from the second, to give us our 9 finalists a little bit later on. And they're on Hockenheim. Normally in R1, quite a difficult circuit to race on, occasionally, but obviously this is, some of these guys will have tried, maybe even tried RENNSPORT for the very first time here this weekend. So there is that little bit more unpredictability maybe than what you guys get.
Yeah, there's a ton of unpredictability here. Couple of names that I have heard and seen before, and we'll get to those probably in a short time, but some new faces here, and loads of new faces, just not just here but across the entire Sim Expo this weekend. It's been really, really good to see.
And how difficult is Hockenheim to just pick up? It's been one of the circuits that you've had for a while in from the beginning, actually, in R1. How difficult was it to just pick it up when you were also new to the game at the time you first raced on it?
Yeah, so for 90% of the lap, honestly, it wasn't too bad. I thought it was absolutely fine, but your lap is defined by that first corner. So you have to fully commit over that inside curb in all of these cars, and doesn't always work out. So if you can get that first part right, it's almost a little bit of a relief moment, and then you can sort of knuckle down with the rest of the lap. And it's fairly straightforward. There's no major surprises with it, but that first corner will always catch somebody out.
Of course, at the start of the race as well, it's going to be one to look forward to. But we are in qualifying at the moment. We're going through this phase of letting the drivers off in 10-second increments. It's not quite as long as you have to wait in R1, but you were telling me what a disadvantage it sometimes is to be last off and waiting a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So we as sim racers love to be in a nice flow state and a nice rhythm as we're coming through into our qualifying laps. And if you're the last person to go, with 11 drivers having already been sitting, waiting for at least 30 seconds or more, and that accumulates, you're sitting there 5-6 minutes waiting just to get started into your qualifying lap. And you know that other guys are setting their lap times, and it's always just really tense and sort of anxiety-inducing almost, especially when you know that your first corner that you have to commit to is here at Hockenheim, and it's turn 1.
Drivers are just, I think, all out now. As I said earlier, it's a little bit of a shorter interval than what you see in R1, so they all let off a little bit quicker than normal. Just in front of us is David Sobrero, who's just going round the hairpin. Saw the way he went round turn 1, but I think he's got a slow down there, looking at his screen. So he was obviously a big competitor yesterday, and we know him as well from other sim racing circles. It's going to be interesting if he has to start from the back, though. Yeah,
really interesting. And as you said before, this isn't normally the easiest of tracks to overtake. I think that's another slowdown there for Wolf there. But yeah, if you have to start at the back here, And we've seen this especially with the R1 stuff. It's really unpredictable in the midfield and further on back. Up front, especially with the guys in R1, it can be a bit more predictable. But today, especially when it might be the first time someone's been in this particular rig as well, they might have touched the platform before, but not the simulators specifically. It does bring a different sort of challenge and element that may mean that this is just completely wide open the whole way through.
This is Garrett Lowe coming through the final couple of corners at the moment. Again, a sim racer we know from other circles. I'm not entirely sure if he's ever done RENNSPORT before, though. As he comes over the line now, we'll see where he gets to. Was purple in the middle sector. I think that's the best time overall. It is indeed, with still 2 to come. Garrett Lowe looks like he's taken the pole position for semi-final number 1. Doesn't know it yet. I don't think it's confirmed yet. There's still 1 to come, but I don't think he's going to be beaten from there. Motionless at the moment. Obviously, the big job to do is in the race. There's Sobrero, 4th place still, despite a slowdown penalty. So still, it must have been a decent lap elsewhere, but slowdown obviously holding you back. We'll get the results up in a second, but there's Garrett Lowe having taken the pole. I'm not sure if it's someone you've come across raced personally. I know you know him, but have you raced him personally?
Probably once upon a time, a long time ago, when I did dabble in some of the NASCAR stuff. Our paths probably did cross once or twice. Garrett probably doesn't remember that, but I'm sure it has happened at some point. So Garrett's a top wheeler, we all know that, and it's no surprise that he's put at the top of the timesheet here.
And he is in real life as well nowadays.
He absolutely is,
so he's doing bits at the moment on the sim and indeed in the real world. Just somebody chatting to one of the people helping out, and the countdown will now begin. So the red lights come on in a moment, and we'll be underway for semi-final number 1. Remember, top 4 should go through from this first semi-final, so look out for that as the lights go out here at the Hockenheimring, and we're underway. Garrett Lowe goes nowhere off the start. Sobrero immediately up to 2nd place. You can see in the Williams Sim Racing blue moving into 2nd through turn 1. It's Maxman though, Nathan Maxman, who takes the lead out of turn number 1 in that bronze Mercedes. You can see Garrett Lowe in the BMW just slips back into 3rd place again, but not the greatest start. It's something we don't see in R1 anymore, the standing starts, but walking these GT3 cars off the line, not something you have to do very often.
No, certainly not. We've got a car that's spun round at the back there, so almost certainly going to have to sort of call it a day there and not progress through the semi-final. But yes, standing start was something that we used to do and don't do anymore, so not a great opportunity to practice that as Sobrero down the inside into the hairpin.
And showing his pace, David Sobrero gets to the lead, coming through the hairpin on Maxman, who was briefly at the front. Garrett Lowe then is in 3rd position, just following in. Of course, they will all advance to the final if they finish like this, but they are racing drivers after all, and they're going to want to fight for these positions at the end of the day anyway. Sobrero now through the middle sector, leading the field. He's going to be difficult to beat from here, and the interesting thing for me is how can the other two, or how close can the other two stick with him?
Yeah, that sort of remains to be seen. That looks like he's sort of been class of the field of everyone that's been here this weekend. So yeah, it looks like it's sort of in his hands, and we'll see how it goes from here. But the drivers were briefed the top 4 would make it through here. So plenty of wise heads sort of need to prevail here, at least for those top 3, and then everything on back then is going to be hopefully an almighty scrap. Hopefully that'll be really good viewing for us. Yeah,
it looks like there's a 4th place battle that is going to develop, but Garrett Lowe just went for a bit of a slide there. I saw through the final couple of corners, just when you alongside the drag strip. Big slide for Maxman as well through turn 1. It's not just lap 1, it's any lap through turn 1 where you can get it wrong. There's a big save required, as you so often need to do on RENNSPORT. It's one of those where you're constantly adjusting the angle. It's difficult to sort of be like sort of robotically smooth with it. You've got to constantly be adjusting, constantly correcting.
Yeah, we're always sort of like pushing the absolute limit, and we're really aggressive sort of through all of our corners, not just the high speed and the medium speed corners as well, but at low speed as well. We're often fighting the wheel quite hard. And we see hopefully Garrett demonstrating here coming off the corner that yeah, he's fighting the wheel really hard there on the way out. Well, I say fighting it very hard. His hands were moving frequently. His face was not.
Yeah, well, that's a racing driver, isn't it? Sim racers often not very expressionful when they're driving, as we know, but he's just concentrating, so we'll let him off for the moment as he continues to apply the pressure to Maxman. Also sliding and going very wide there. Got to be careful you don't do that too often, otherwise you will be punished, but he'll get away with it in a short race. He should do anyway. Through now into the final sector, Subaru beginning to get a bit of a bigger lead, and there is Subaru in the main part of your screen. Again, just correcting a little bit, but you know, we're sat right behind him here in the booth. You can see, actually, he looks properly, I'm not sure how far away from a sort of R1 time he is at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's a million miles away. Obviously difficult to be sort of on the pace of you guys who've practiced quite so much, but his time's probably solid at the moment, and that's being reflected in his growing lead.
Yeah, so I've seen David actually do a little bit of practice with the Williams Esports guys, so he's definitely no slouch. And if they absolutely needed to, I'm sure he could drop into their lineup and be right up the pace in a matter of weeks, sort of a thing. Interesting to see that Garrett Lowe hasn't actually got ahead of Maxim yet. Oh, it's a big slide there through T3. Well held, but that's going to lose him plenty of momentum heading down into the hairpin, which is still, even in this sort of environment, going to be like your key overtaking opportunity on the lap. A huge stopping point down into the hairpin, and always an opportunity to try and get a car up the inside.
Also a battle for fourth position, which, as we know, is going to be very, very important this afternoon. This is semi-final number 1, remember, from our daily competition here at the SimRacing Expo. So this battle for fourth position is going to be a rather important one to just have a look at here in this race. So we're looking at Anton at the moment, trying to get past Mercedes versus BMW. It is. And at the moment, the Mercedes prevailing. Oh, Lowe has clearly had a spin coming out of the Mercedes section, it looks like. Or, yeah, it was indeed Garrett Lowe. And so he drops to 5th place. Now the situation changes completely.
Yeah, complete curveball. Wasn't expecting to see that. It looks like he's probably dropped it maybe over the inside curve of Tia. Easy thing to do if you just get it slightly wrong on the way in. Once the car goes, it's very difficult to save. So Garrett now has all the work to do. He's going to have to work his way forward and make an overtake here.
Well, we know he's got the speed at least, but can he find the pass? Look at him, really close through the final corner there, almost getting into the back of the BMW. Anton just going on the defensive this time round, as Spiegel will get away. Rather lets that one go. Garrett Lowe did look a little bit quicker and just went round the outside through turn number 1, straight into an all-important 4th position, but he's got to tidy that up now. He's got to make sure he doesn't make another one of those mistakes.
Now, I'm actually quite surprised that Anton didn't really fight that. That is for the last transfer spot into the final, so normally I would say fight that as hard as you can, and he had the inside line for turn 1 as well, so he had the entire high ground, I would say, for that engagement, and yeah, just sort of let Garrett go, which I want to see a good fight. I want to see a scrap, so hopefully he can get back into the swing of it.
He's on board with Anton now. Great to ride on board in car with these GT3s at RENNSPORT. The BMW has been here from the very beginning, and it is the car of choice for some. Has been for Lowe and Anton, it looks like, here today as they come into the Mercedes, or towards the Mercedes grandstand, turn 7. Now out of the middle sector towards the drag strip, the dead straight line, and then the final sector. Subaru coming around the final couple of corners at the moment. They're getting into the last laps, the last moments of this race. Here comes Lowe, outside line, wants a bit of insurance by going around the outside of Spiegel, not going to manage it through there. Final sector is incredibly narrow, can't make a pass through here just for the moment.
Just for the moment, you probably could go for it on the last lap, but normally you don't want to be making too many rash moves in the last sector earlier in the race, because you just cost both you and the driver that you're competing against so much lap time. But Garrett makes the move there, clean as a whistle into T1.
And he's done that twice now in 2 laps into towards turn number 1. There's a bit of a fight back though from Spiegel, who comes to the outside line now. Very late on the brakes and going to really give Lowe the runaround. Look at that. Great move around the outside. There's contact. Garrett Lowe goes around. 5th position for him, and it might be worse once he's get himself out of the grass. And there's the face. He's not impressed with that. It was a little bit of contact. I thought it was a good move actually around the outside from Spiegel, but just a little bit of contact, and there's a slide from Garrett Lowe, sends him all the way around and down to 5th place.
Yeah, certainly not ideal. Though, that being said, something that probably should be mentioned is that he might have another opportunity in the next race. 5th and 6th place in this race will then drop into the next semi-final. No?
Maybe.
Maybe. I'm hearing conflicting things. Apologies for that. So yeah, it's really not good that that's happened there for Garrett. He didn't need to fight that maybe quite as hard. If Spiegel did want to come back up the inside there, then the opportunity was there, and they would still hold on to the key spots, making it through into the final. A clash for third position when fifth is sort of not entirely there to pick up the pieces is a cardinal sin.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things, isn't it, to sort of balance, because you've done these types of races before where the top whatever qualifies, normally the top 6 out of 12 in your races, so it's effectively 50% like this is almost.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle, isn't it, between when you're in 6th place, when you were in those situations, do you try and get 5th so you've got a bit of an insurance policy there and you know nothing silly happens, or do you sit there in 6th and trust that the driver behind you isn't going to be able to overtake you? It's a very difficult balance to strike.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it all sort of depends on who you have around you, not necessarily just the static, oh, I'm in this position so I do this. There might be some people behind you that you really don't want to have behind you and you want to put some distance between yourself and them, and there's maybe some people behind you where you're like, okay, I'll trust this person to not do anything silly and we can continue as normal.
And for David Sobrero, that has very much been the case so far. He's just coming into the final sector now, and even on this last lap I can see him pushing to try and improve his best lap of the session so far. That's what a top driver does. Coming through the final sector, he will now. Very fast right-hander before the Sats curve, the banked left. Makes it quite difficult to overtake, as we saw a little bit earlier on. Small slide coming out the exit, but that's the way to drive that Mercedes. Stands on the brakes again for the penultimate turn before taking the final one as well in one smooth arc. And he comes out the final corners to win semi-final number 1 here on Sunday at the SimRacing Expo. Congratulations, David Sobrero will be in the final with victory here in the Hockenheimring. He should progress on with those others in the top 4. Maxman, who we saw earlier on, Spiegel and Anton as well, I think will both make it. There's Nicholas Maxman coming through. 2nd place for the Mercedes. Anton 3rd place in the BMW should advance as well. And 4th place, Spiegel's actually lost a bit of time on this last lap, but it's going to be 4th place, and it's going to be enough just in front of Garrett Lowe, who finishes in 5th position and doesn't quite make it in the end. A good first race of the day, but and again, that classic drama between that 4th and 5th place. We always knew that was going to be the bubble, and it was an interesting fight between those 3, especially for those 4 places.
Yeah, it certainly was, and that's what makes racing exciting, is you have a little bit of jeopardy, and you know, when certain places sort of almost matter more, it brings in extra tension into each fight, and we've seen it all sort of erupt there in the final couple of laps.
I'm going to try and chat to David Sobrero, but he's still driving and still practicing, so I'll try and get him to stop doing that and chat to me in a moment. But he's going again to do a little bit more practice before the final a little bit later on. As I mentioned, we'll have another 9 drivers in semi-final number 2, and that they will all make it through to the final. David, congratulations winning semi-final number 1. Talk to us about qualifying though. What happened to you in the first session in qualifying?
Hello, thank you. I got a slowdown penalty in the hairpin because, I don't know, it was just a mistake of mine. I was pushing really hard, and yeah, but
well, exactly. You came through the field to win. What was it like trying to make those passes, get into the lead as you did?
I got a really good start from the standing start. I was a bit scared to maybe get crushed in T1 because it's really difficult in this track, really chaotic. But everything went smooth and clean, and then I just went away and there.
And how do you feel going forward into the final with 1 win under your belt today already?
Confident.
We look forward to seeing you in the final. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. David Sobrero, the winner of semi-final number 1 here this afternoon at the SimRacing Expo. Can I just chat to... Well, congratulations, 2nd place and into the final a little bit later. How was your race?
It was a good race. It was quite... I'm still learning. My first time on RENNSPORT was about an hour ago. So, you know, I'm getting used to it still. It feels good. It's a nice sim to drive in. I'm happy with my position. You know, the leader didn't absolutely leave me. I made a mistake, but you know, he wasn't miles ahead of me. So yeah, feeling good.
You say it's your first time trying RENNSPORT today. How have you been finding it? How has that process been, sort of learning it and sort of getting on with it? How have you found it?
Rushed. I've been rushed into this tournament, but yeah, I'm doing well so far. I feel happy.
And going forward into the final, where do you think you can finish? Can you get any closer to David, do you think?
I'll try my best. From what I've seen, I don't have that much of a threat behind, so I can focus on pushing forwards.
Good luck for the final. Thanks for chatting to me. Thanks very much. That is so second place from semi-final number 1 here today. Garrett, do you mind? If you've got a voice, is your voice back?
Barely.
I won't keep you for too long. How was your race? 5th place in the end. Obviously, that battle at the end was the important part. What was that like from your perspective?
Well, before I qualified, I had 1 lap on the sim, so completely brand new, completely green. I don't know how I qualified on pole. I thought I was going to give Nathan a good run for his money, and yeah, just a little bit of contact and gone. So actually, kind of fun. I feel like there's little things that could actually be a lot better that would make it incredibly good. But overall, not bad. I was really impressed.
Yeah, so it's your first time trying RENNSPORT today, is it? Okay, so what were your first impressions when you jumped in? Obviously, it's a bit rushed before the competition or whatever, but what were your first impressions and so on?
First impression was obviously braking, entry, center is good, and then exit, it's like the self-centering moment is not quite what you get on other sims. You don't get a lot of feedback in the wheel or anything in the seat, obviously, so that's where I'm struggling. You saw me spin twice. So there's the answer.
Well, thanks for chatting to me. I hope your voice sounds fine. You're recovered.
Yeah. So somehow, I've been taking these throat lozenges like one after the other, so somehow we're talking.
No, thanks for putting your voice through this weekend. Thanks for chatting to me, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yep, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Garrett Lowe, 5th place in semi-final number 1 here this afternoon. I think the other drivers are ready. Well, not ready, but they are all sat there. So I think it's a new 9 drivers ready for semi-final number 2. And I think the top 5 will go through from this one. So we'll see who those 5 are in a moment. They're all just joining into the same lobby and so on. But 2 of those 3 I just chatted to from the top 5 had never tried RENNSPORT before today. So impressive, you would say, that they were able to drive as well as they did.
Yep, 100%. It's not the easiest thing to just jump in. Bearing in mind also it's a new rig probably for everyone here as well, with the PlayStation rigs here at the SimRacing Expo. So it's all just new. It's just sensory overload. You just can't get to terms with what's happening, and you've got so little time as well with everything just to get comfortable and prepared and knowing exactly where you need to place the car. There's so much going on, so just getting around the track is a mission in itself, and I think these guys did a great job.
And on the point of the rigs, correct me if I'm wrong, these are the same ones pretty much as you used in the Esports World Cup for the latest edition of that in 2025. What is the advice you'd give to somebody trying out the rigs for the first time, getting the most out of them on RENNSPORT?
Don't panic.
Yeah. Anything specific? I don't know.
Well, so I find the seat actually very comfortable to sit in. So if you're comfortable as you sink into the seat, then that automatically will sort of put your mind at ease. Like, okay, yeah, this is going to be fine. I don't have a problem with it. So, like us as sim racers, we're always looking for like the fine details to be annoyed about over something. I didn't have any problems at all with the rigs. I thought they were, excellent. So, yeah, just making sure that you're comfortable in your seat. I mean, there's plenty of adjustability as well between wheel position, the pedals, everything's like pretty good in terms of adjustability. So don't be afraid to ask to get it changed how you want, and as long as you're comfortable, you'll probably drive to your best.
And place seat prizes, by the way, what they're fighting for. The winner in the final will be able to take a prize from place seat. So that's all to look forward to and to present after the final. But this is semi-final number 2 coming up in a moment. A new 9 drivers on the grid ready to go in a moment as well. And you have driven in sort of LAN events, LAN environments like this, where more people than this will be standing around and watching you. Obviously, the screens up with your head as well. But there must have been a first time when you were in those scenarios, and then again, that is different to being just. Some of these guys won't be associated to any team. They'll be casual sim racers.
Yep.
How would you advise them on dealing with a land situation like this for the first time as well?
I mean, if it's your first time, you're gonna be here just to enjoy it. You're probably not here to like put every last fiber of sweat into just winning. We're all here for a great weekend and a great time and trying everything that's available to us. So enjoy it. Don't stress out too much. The first year that I was here at the SimRacing Expo, so it was back when it was at the Nürburgring, it was 2018, I think was my first year. Philip Stam over to my right remembers that one quite well. And I competed that weekend and didn't take it too seriously and had a great time with it. Performed terribly, but I didn't care. I had fun. It was a fun time. It was a fun weekend. Don't stress out about it. And you'll learn as well a little bit if this is the first time that you've competed at a LAN environment. Okay, well, maybe I can try something different for the next one or find a different way to get comfortable. And from there, then actually you might improve then as a sim racer as a whole.
It's been going a long time, the SimRacing Expo, as we know. We were, I don't know if you were there at the, oh no, you weren't, it was Friday, but it was the exhibitors event, and there was lots of pictures up from previous years of the SimRacing Expo and how it's come along. It is great to be here this weekend, great to have a RENNSPORT stand as well. I know you're off elsewhere, and you haven't been able to come by the other stands very much, but this very much feels like we've sort of brought a mini R1, if you like, to the SimRacing Expo. Obviously, we have less space and see 9 rigs rather than the normal 12 in a smaller space. But yeah, it very much feels like we brought that sort of competitive atmosphere to the SimRacing Expo with RENNSPORT R1 being brought here effectively and people getting the chance to come and qualify as well. Don't forget, these guys all set their lap times earlier on this morning and early this afternoon to qualify for this competition, and now they've got a chance to win some prizes if they make it to the final as well.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And just to sort of like further your point, yeah, there's a lovely buzz around here this weekend. As a whole, the entire event has been massive. There's been so many people sort of passing through and stopping by and having a chat. Sim racing as a whole, I think, is in a great place, and it's exciting to see what we can do moving forward with RENNSPORT, with PlayStation, with everyone here this weekend. I want to say that we're all here trying to make sim racing better for everyone, regardless of your affiliation or your alliances as such. Like we all want to make sim racing the best thing that we can. And so having events like this is brilliant, and having competitions on, and it's all quite friendly as well. Like I feel like this is like back to at least before everything got like super serious as well. Like we're not like sweating too hard over, oh, there's a little bit of contact here and there. We're sim racing, we're having fun, we're enjoying it.
It benefits everyone as well to have a good environment in sim racing, whichever game is your game, as it were, or your sim is your sim, or whatever you want to call it. You know, it benefits everyone to have proper strong sims like we do here. And of course, lot to look forward to in RENNSPORT coming up soon. Cross-play available in 25 days' time as RENNSPORT comes to Xbox and PlayStation. That's going to give huge opportunity to a lot of people who are obviously on console and don't have the ability to race with us on PC so often. We've also got new content coming out right from day one as well in the GT3 categories. A new McLaren and a Mustang as well, coming along with an updated Porsche, the 911 Evo, of course. A couple of DLCs that have been announced as well. Endurance Classics with a Porsche 911 GT1, Mercedes CLK LM, and a Porsche 956 as well, along with the 24 Hours of Le Mans circuit as well, which is, well, it's one of my favourites anyway. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. And the Touring Classics Part 1 DLC, which is coming soon to RENNSPORT as well, with including the Alfa Romeo 155, which if you're at the stand or at the SimRacing Expo this weekend, you can come and see. Very spectacular car to see in the flesh. The other cars, you know, and the like around that era are also in that DLC. The Mercedes, the BMW, a couple of Mercedes, in fact, along with the old Hockenheim, which you can't race at in real life anymore, but you can in RENNSPORT. So that's another positive thing. A lot to look forward to in RENNSPORT coming up soon. Le Mans or old Hockenheim, you'd look forward to more? Which would you Which do you look forward to most?
I think it has to be Old Hockenheim because
Yeah,
I've not been
I
able
agree.
to drive it in anything for ages. Probably the last time I went near that was maybe 15 years ago on probably some R Factor thing, maybe a really, really long time ago. So the Old Hockenheim, yeah, I'd love to give that a swing because Le Mans is available sort of in so many other things at the minute, but we don't see the old Hockenheim layout as much anymore, sadly. I would say so. I'm really looking forward to see that.
Yeah, I am as well. Of course, modding also available in RENNSPORT. Also on console, the Orchard Road Street Circuit we've already seen. You've raced competitively at that circuit. We've also got plenty more to come, of course, with the RENNSPORT modding available on console, as I say. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to. We'll dive into all of that in between the semi-final and the final, because qualifying is underway for semi-final number 2, as you've been seeing on a screen while I've been nattering away. The first lap times will come through in a moment, but as you'll notice, we're not at Hockenheim anymore. We're back at Spa, so the original R1 circuit, as it were, for RENNSPORT. The very first event took place there, and the very latest event has taken place there now as well, as the drivers make their way around in qualifying. 10-second increments again, as into the final couple of corners come the top guys who were released first out of the final corner. A little bit of sliding on the exit, as we were hearing from Garrett Lowe. Very difficult to control on the power, and indeed these cars do slide around quite a lot. A lot of opposite lock required. As the drivers come over the line, you'll see the times coming through as well. I think you guys were in the 14s at very best. I wouldn't expect to see any of those. Otherwise, you'd be getting contracts out, I suppose.
Yeah, that's very true, very true. You'd be surprised though. Spa's a circuit where we all know where it goes. Like, we're all super experienced with Spa. There's no surprises anymore. The track is fairly, I wouldn't say paint by numbers, that's maybe doing a complete disservice, but there's no like crazy curves that we need to jump over. There's nothing super complicated about any of the lines that we're taking. Every corner's sort of laid out in front of you. Obviously the run up Eau Rouge and Radeon, it's blind up over the crest, but everything else you can see. So it's a track that you can get to grips with quite quickly as well. It's got a really satisfying flow too, so it's not the hardest track in the world to actually extract a lap time from.
Yeah, it's a good thing for this type of event, isn't it? Because as you say, everybody knows Spa, and everybody seems to like Spa as well. I'm not sure if I've met anybody who doesn't, but why would you dislike it? It's a very good circuit. Just saw Mihai Dragan come over the line there last of all, so that ends qualifying, and very shortly we'll be underway with semi-final number 2. I believe the first 5 will go through from this one. Yes, indeed they will. Into the final, because 4 plus 5 makes 9, as I'm told. So I'm glad someone else did that maths for me. The lights will come on now in a moment, and we'll be ready to go at Spa for semi-final number 2 on Sunday here at the RENNSPORT stand at the SimRacing Expo in Dortmund. Lights go green and we are underway. Standing start again, and of course, a slow start in the midfield. There are actually a couple of slow starts from a couple of Mercedes actually, as they all fan out in towards the La Source corner for the first time. Tight hairpin, of course, and out front they get through cleanly. Everybody gets through cleanly, in fact, La Source. Not always very easy to do, but they have done here in semi-final 2.
Yeah, it's good to see as well, because if you get turned around at the start here, it's so hard to fight your way back into proceedings. So good start from everyone. I mean, a couple of slow getaways, but no major harm done, and everyone's still in the fight to try and qualify through into the final.
Piazza here in the slipstream and looking for the lead as they come up the Kemmel Straight. It's the advantage of starting in second place, as he can have a big run on the way towards Lecombe. He's on the outside but breaks early, and so tucks back into line. Side by side for 5th place meanwhile, as Wolf just gets overtaken there, and these guys have got to get organised. And Wolf goes for a spin. He was in prime position to try and take 5th, and he spun. Contact there as well for Wittmers, who's gone into the gravel through Malmedy, and he's going to struggle to get back going again as well. It's all happening through the Lecombe chicane, and out the other side we've got a defined top 5 just about at the front, but there is Handover in 6th position looking for that 5th. This is the bubble, if you like. This is where the 5th place battle is going to be, and of course that final transfer spot into the final.
Yeah, it certainly is. So it's all on Daniel Handover here to try and work his way a little bit further forward, but a bit of a gap has stretched out between the top 4 or 5 here and then everyone else. So if the guys at the front here are sensible and smart, then they will just sort of ride in line and make it quite boring and dull for us, unfortunately, which sometimes we did see in R1. I'm happy to concede that. The top guys will play it smart and just not go for the moves that they don't need to. But further on back, yeah, we need to see some progress forward. But we do see a battle here for third, Stochevich on the defensive heading here into Blanchimont. So nothing too silly, boys, here. Far off the background.
Someone was off there in the background there. How on earth did they find themselves out there, by the way? That was very unusual. Not a place you normally see a car stranded, but that might now transfer Hanover into the position that is required. We'll get it. Oh, and that's very late on the break from Stochevich there into the final chicane. We'll lose second place down to third. So a change there as Piazza takes the lead. So it must have been the driver in front of Piazza. Yeah, it must have been the leader. So that is a very unusual place to see as car spun as well. There's a battle for the lead now as Piazza slows massively in towards. I wonder whether he was involved in it as he dropped to third. Is he going to drop behind that Porsche that was off there? Very confusing happenings at the moment. But now that battle for third place as it was is now the one for the lead.
It is, and that's shaking the whole race up massively. So our pole setter Albert there is now having to try and work his way back through into the top 5. So remains to be seen if he can do that. But if you qualify on pole and there are opportunities to overtake around the circuit, then it can be done. It just, does he have enough laps and does he have enough time to do so? But yeah, all sort of quiet through the first corner, and then all hell breaks loose.
The wrong way around, really, isn't it, for what you normally see. 5 laps only in this race, by the way. 6 at the Hockenheimring, because it is a lot shorter. At least the modern day Grand Prix layout is. So just 5 here from Spa in race number 2 and semi-final number 2. Indeed, as well. There are some of the stragglers at the back of the field who are picking themselves out from difficult situations earlier, looking to get themselves into the top 5 to join the 4 that we saw advance in the first semi-final of the day. Through downhill through Piron now they go, and Piazza seems to have picked up the pace again and is now on the battle for second position rather. Currently is in third place, putting pressure on that BMW for second. As you say, not much point in battling here, but in a situation like this, in a race like this, it's going to be difficult for everyone to sort of hold themselves back from having a go.
Certainly is, and as well, if you know that you're definitely faster than the car ahead, you don't want to be sitting there tucked up behind them just in case they do something that you're just not predicting. Like, you'll want to get the move done, get yourself maybe into a little bit of clean air, hunt down the car ahead and get a move on rather than tippy-toeing around them a little bit. As we see a battle here for P6, P5.
Yeah, 5th and 6th, I think. Roof off the side, and a bit of side-to-side contact coming down into the chicane. Very late on the brakes and way too late from Roof, who goes into a spin and into the barrier. Will spin himself back around and onto the circuit again in a moment. That was the battle for 5th. That's the transfer place. But Roof just way too late on the brakes there. Had the right idea around the outside the first part, inside at the second, but broke a bit too late.
Yeah, right idea, just not the right execution, unfortunately, on that one. Sometimes you got to go big or go home, and that was sadly a go home moment on that one. Far too deep on the brakes, and yeah, not able to even use the cut through to sort of mitigate the time loss.
Massive run from Hanover here, by the way, who's roaring up to the back of the BMW and is going straight past here, but no slipstream, so could be found out there. Here goes on the other side, the BMW, as that Mercedes pulls in front of Hanover and he just backs away. Side by side for second. We said it was difficult to hold yourself back from battling, and there is evidence. Side by side they go. Hanover's just going to hang back and then take the places. Thanks very much. Third position, not quite settled just yet, in fact. The BMW on the outside holds firm, and Hanover will now have that position. Third position it is. In that Porsche. So I think it's 3 manufacturers in the top 3 again, although I could be wrong, maybe top 4, but anyway, that's your top 4. They're safe at the moment. It's the battle for 5th position, which is the one to make it into the final or not. And at the moment, those positions are looking fairly secure. Just in front of us, we've seen a pass for 6th position, and so that probably allows one of those two to now try and drive away and catch up to the top 5. Try to get into the top 5, of course, which you need to be after 5 laps here at Spa to get through into the final coming up shortly.
Yeah, it certainly is. So we're probably into this weird sort of like mid-race lull almost, where battles have sort of happened and spread out a little bit, and then we're waiting for sort of the next battles to converge again. So Handover sort of catching Piazza here for second, I believe. So it's looking good despite that sort of ropey start and ropey qualifying in terms of working his way forward, and actually round the outside, cutting back, sort of crossing over. He's going to leave on the outside for the chicane, but deep on the brakes. He's going to get it stopped. He is really nice move. It's down to Hanover up into second position.
Nice pass, and continues to make up positions at the moment. Does Hanover, and he's now, as I say, into second. So looking for the lead, I guess, is next as Piazza demoted to third position. Through the hairpin they now go. And down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion once again. Just in front of us, Albert is not too far behind Huddock, who's in the last transfer spot at the moment, fifth position. Top 5 go through from this semi-final into the 9-driver final coming up a little bit later on. I'll say a little bit later, straight after this, which is how it works. So lap and a half to go. These guys looking fairly comfortable. Hanover looking actually very quick actually, and might try and catch up to the lead, to pass for the lead, as not that really matters, but might well do it anyway. We'll see whether he can over the course of the next lap and a half in that Porsche, which he's certainly getting to grips with now.
Certainly is. Could we say, and this might get me thrown off broadcast immediately, that Daniel's been making positions hand over fist?
Wow. I'll just let that one sit there for a second. No, I appreciated that. I thought that was funny, although I didn't laugh.
You did there. I'll take that as a win.
No, that was good. Well done.
But he has been really strong in this race. He's progressed well from towards the back of the field, worked his way forward. Brilliant move there at the end of the last lap, and he's hunting down the leader. So I mean, I'm not wrong, am I?
No, I was just stunned actually. Also disappointed I hadn't thought of it myself, but there you go. That's how these things go. There he is, currently in the second position. I don't think he's going to have enough time to chase down, actually. I think laps remaining might be his enemy. But second place, as I say, is more than enough to get yourself into the final. There is Wittmers, as we go through a couple of the other drivers who've not been on the screen so much. Down in ninth place at the moment. It looks like this competition's coming to an end very soon with a ninth place finish. There's Roof, still going around. Roof, 8th position, but quite a number of seconds away from that top 5. Really needs something to go wrong here for that to happen. The battle for 4th place is absolutely on, and that is allowing Albert to catch up as well. Huddock wants that bit of insurance again, and that is allowing 6th placed Albert to just catch up here. Over the line they go, one more lap to go. This is the battle. BMW versus Mercedes, and there down the inside goes Huddock in towards turn 1 and gets the move done down the other side of the hill. Albert is going to try and take the slipstream of both of them here to get into that 5th position once again as they come down the hill and in towards Eau Rouge and Radion now. Up over that curve on the left hand side and then jumping up over the crest, very steep as it is. Now into the slipstream. Here we go, Porsche versus BMW, but the slipstream from Huddock, oh dear, goes one side then the other, does Albert, and he's going to go for the 5th position here, the all-important 5th position, with Sucevic alongside, and he's got it inside line, 5th position through Lecom.
Yeah, super move. I noticed Sucevic there grabbed a little bit of the brake there to curb his run back up the hill in the fight for 4th, but it ended up just bringing Albert even closer to the fight. And unfortunately then he's ended up falling victim for trying to play it maybe a little bit too tactically, and Albert then with a really clean, efficient move up the inside of Lecom, and I think he has the pace then to pull away.
So last lap, Albert, it does seem to have the speed to stay in front, unless there's going to be a big change here. Hanover's just gone for a spin through pit path, or is that through Pouon even? It is through Pouon, and he's up down into 6th position. It's such a difficulty getting these cars back going again once you end up in the gravel. He was in a transfer spot, turn 5. You can see the disappointment, down to 7th position. Unfortunate for Hanover, no jokes can be made afterwards. Sadly, the top 5 changes completely.
Yeah, it changes completely. Sucevic with a reprieve there after losing the spot there originally on the final lap. But here is Dragon here, who we haven't mentioned at all in this entire race because he's got out front and just controlled it from start to finish.
He was here yesterday and was in the final as well, but didn't show speed like this. Battle for fourth, also getting very physical. I can see in front of me, but Michal Dragan is going to come through the final corner, and he's going to win semi-final number 2 here on Sunday at the SimRacing Expo. Weaves over the line. Thanks very much. He'll be in the final, having won the second semi-final. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. Albert ends up there with Sujovic just behind, and he will make it into the final as well. But that was an action-packed semi-final, and another 5 will make it now into our last race of the day. A round of applause for the 5 who make it, and indeed everybody. As I go over to Michal Dragan to have a quick chat, if I'm able to. Michal, congratulations on your victory in semi-final number 2. A chaotic race, but tell us about the early laps while you were in that battle for the lead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm really happy about this win. Yeah, the first lap was really chaotic, but I was lucky enough to be safe, to get through the problems.
How have you been learning about RENNSPORT? We saw you yesterday, of course, down here. How have you been learning about RENNSPORT, how to drive it this week?
Well, yesterday it was the first time for me when I drove on RENNSPORT, and it's really interesting. I find the simulator really easy to learn and a nice feedback. It's better than most simulators. I'm an iRacing guy, so after iRacing, RENNSPORT is really good.
And of course, finals coming up very shortly. How do you think you'll go against the other 4 who were in the other semi-final?
No, I don't have any chance, but I will try to do my best.
Good luck for the final.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. That's Michal Dragan, who's won the second semi-final of the day here on the Sunday. See where the other 5 are, if there are any more hanging about. They're all changing rigs again for the final coming up very, very shortly. But yeah, some of them have disappeared, so they'll be getting ready in a moment. Dan. Sorry to grab you, but you're the only one here. You were doing so well for so long. Jamie even made a joke about you making passes hand over fist. You've heard it all before. What happened on the last lap, though?
I was saying to myself, don't push too hard on the last lap, and I pushed too hard on the last lap. I went through Puon, I was in 5th, dropped to 4th. Every other lap it seemed to be okay, and then for that I think I was going in too fast, dropped to 4th, and the back end went. So.
Is this the first time trying RENNSPORT this weekend? How have you been finding it?
It's good. Car's got a lot of weight to them, which is really nice. So as you get to feel what the car is doing, it's got a lot of front end. You can feel what the rear is doing as well, which is really nice. Yeah, first time playing it, really impressed.
And from 3 weeks' time, Xbox players, PlayStation players, PC players will be able to be in the same lobbies racing each other. I know that, obviously, well, pretty much all of us started in console backgrounds. That's how you get into sim racing. That's our first forays normally. How important is that for us back then? Would it have been for us to sort of race against PC guys as well? It's an exciting time.
It certainly is. It's great because the more people you can race with, the more people you can actually learn from, adapt with. It's great. Obviously, since we used to do this, a long time ago in console, having more options is really good. I think it's just the more options we have for people to be able to play together, brilliant.
Thanks for chatting to me, and commiserations on your last lap spin. Thanks very much. That's Dan Handover, who finishes just outside the important top 5 positions here today in semi-final number 2. So the guys who have made it are all now congregating and working out which rig they should be in for the final, which will be coming up in a few moments' time. See, the best 9 that we've had here today effectively will be here and all ready to go very, very shortly. But Jamie, that was an exciting couple of semi-finals. Enjoyed them, but now it's time for the final. And you do get the feeling that when we're talking to these guys, certainly when I was chatting to Michal there, everybody believes that David is the favourite, and he's going to be difficult to beat.
I'd agree. I think these guys are at least being realistic. I don't think they're putting themselves down too much. Like, David's a really top operator. We've seen him plenty across different platforms as well. So we know he's a wily operator. Yeah, I was actually speaking to Mihai earlier today. Really lovely guy. And I did see him drive, and yeah, he knows how to wheel. He's not a slouch by any means. So it's racing. Anything can still happen. There are no guarantees. So we'll see what the final is in store for us.
Yeah, weird things happen in finals occasionally, so you just never know what can happen. I mean, he got slowed down qualifying last time, so you just never know what can happen. But the pressure will be on him certainly in a few moments' time. But as I mentioned, so many exciting things coming to RENNSPORT very, very shortly. We're just talking about crossplay in Xbox and PlayStation. I don't actually know whether you started console as well, or whether you've been PC from the very beginning. What was your background?
Oh, I mean, I've been sim racing of some description for 25 plus years. I mean, I was a PlayStation kid growing up, but I've dabbled in all sorts at various points in my life, but properly got stuck in with wheel and pedals and grabbed R Factor 1, I think it was that point, with a few friends, and took it all from there. And yeah, all of a sudden 11 years has passed and I have no idea what's happened.
Happens to all of us. I've been sim racing for a long time as well, although not in the iRacing and obviously PC communities. Now RENNSPORT as well for very, very long. But how important is it to sort of, for those sort of starting out in console, to be able to play against PC players? Because we always argue about who's actually fastest, whether it is the PlayStation guys, is it the Xbox guys, or are the PC guys with the wheel and pedals the fastest. We're going to be able to settle some of those arguments somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, crossplay, I feel like it's just a natural thing that should happen. Like, it's not... If we don't have it, it's a bad thing. So being able to at least open up the access so that pretty much everyone can have a go at this and prove that they are the best. And that's what RENNSPORT has sort of always been about. It's bringing everyone in and just showing who actually is the best driver in the world. Who out of your mates is the best as well, whether like you guys are on different consoles, different platforms, whatever it may be. I think it's a tremendous thing, and yeah, hopefully it goes well.
I remember being desperate to be able to race my friends who were on other consoles when I was on the Xbox, and glad that the kids of today, as it were, and it did, well, me now as well, to be fair, I'll be
You're still a young cub.
I know. Thanks. Be able to do exactly that, and race together on RENNSPORT, which is so exciting. And one of the things you can do on console now, which I'm not sure how often has been done by any simulator on console, which is user-generated content modding coming to console. Obviously, it's different the way that it works, the way you have to do it on PC and so on. But the fact that we can have modded circuits into the game at all is a good thing, but also into console as well. I've got to say, from my perspective personally, I very much enjoy the sort of, so even the fictional circuits that talented modders just make, and that's so exciting for the RENNSPORT community over a long period of time. When you've got bored of driving the normal circuits, you want to make something up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my start with sim racing was often actually with modded content. At least when I got a wheel and pedals and a PC. Modded content was what got me like really hooked into that, and then I sort of took a step back into sort of the more traditional stuff and from there. But whether it was driving old Formula 1 cars on crazy hill climbs and stuff like that used to be sort of what I used to do when I was quite a bit younger. And the opportunity then for RENNSPORT to bring that sort of back again, I think is a tremendous thing, and something that we should be sort of encouraging a little bit more than what we have done in sort of the recent past.
One more thing on that before we start to talk about this final, because they've just started practice. How would you feel about sort of user-generated content, or maybe, maybe more officially created, but modded content, fictional circuits in an event like the Esports World Cup? Would you welcome that as a sort of new exciting thing, or should it stick to the real circuits? And if so, you'd like to see the modded circuits, how do you think you would go compared to your other professional competitors?
So I'm actually a huge fan of user-created content when it comes to this sort of thing. I feel like with sim racing, maybe the one thing that we tie ourselves a little bit too much is our real-world counterpart. I'm all for mixing it up and doing something different, because there's no reason for us to race on tracks where we can't overtake. Why can't we create something where we can overtake pretty much any corner, but also still make it maybe a challenge to overtake? Like, create something that's super exciting for not only us to drive and race, but also to spectate and watch.
After all, real racetracks are very much restricted by the landscape with which they're built on. And
exactly.
and that's the reality of Earth. So
Yeah.
there's not much you can do about that. However, the fictional circuits, as you say, we can create something which is so exciting. So very much looking forward to that. And I would personally love to see it come to the professional competitions as well. Whether your counterparts would complain or not, I'm sure there would be complainers. But
they'd complain, but that's to my advantage, so I don't care.
yeah, it would help you out. It would be fantastic. Just talk about this final as we get forward into the practice session now. We're at Jeddah, which, by the way, first off, incredibly difficult circuit to hold this final race on.
Yeah, super difficult circuit. It's a circuit that's sort of built for F1 naturally, in terms of the flow and the nature of the circuit, and so it feels very challenging in a GT3 car that's not quite as agile and as nimble. So what we find then is that we have to put a lot of time and effort in to get comfortable with the circuit. This was the track for EWC that I found by some significant distance the hardest to practice for, because the flow of the circuit isn't super intuitive in a GT car. In a high performance open wheeler, I think it flows a little bit nicer, but that's what makes it such a challenging circuit, and it's just full commitment every single corner, and you cannot make a single mistake there.
And I think this is the first time we've got a broadcasted competitive race in the darkness.
I believe you're correct, yeah. So that's exciting as well.
We were there for most of them, so we should remember. But I'm pretty sure it is the first competitive race broadcasted, obviously, here at the SimRacing Expo this weekend in the darkness. So it continues to get more exciting here at RENNSPORT, and the Jeddah circuit really is not in very many sims, so pleased to have it in RENNSPORT. And you don't often, until late last year, don't often see not F1 cars go around here. And personally, I'm quite a fan of this circuit, actually. I think it's a bit underrated because it looks a bit weird, but it puts people off. But I really like it, and I think it provides some good races as well. Most of these drivers have never driven around it before, and we've just watched someone spin right in front of us. It's very, very difficult, as you were just saying.
Yeah, super difficult, and especially at night, as we see, yeah, that first corner is very difficult to get right. If you overcommit, that is what's going to happen, and it's so tempting to throw everything into it because you carry more speed in turn 1 than turn 2, and you've got the direction change as well. So you have to drive the first corner with the handbrake on slightly, just a little bit more conservative. Super difficult to get right, and honestly, in this sort of format, especially when it's dark and it's maybe not the easiest thing to see reference points, just getting a solid, clean lap in here is going to be very, very difficult, and whoever sort of keeps their nerve and cool will probably do that quite nicely.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Mihai Dragan was one of them we saw go spinning around. Maybe, well, look, it was a Mercedes, but I don't think it was Subaru. It wasn't in that Williams
I think it was
livery. Yeah, you're right, I think, actually. So spins, unfortunately, through the first sector, first chicane for some, as they now come through the sort of last... Oh, and Spiegel's in the wall as well. Already a few seconds down in the first sector, well, getting to grips with this circuit, but goes into the wall as well. I'm always a big fan of, by the way, competing on circuits that the drivers have never done before. Doesn't happen too often to you guys, but makes for unpredictable, very unpredictable racing when this happens.
Oh yeah, like we have no idea what's going to happen here. Obviously, with our backgrounds and knowledge with the R1 series, we have a fair idea what's going to happen in nearly any given moment because we put outrageous amount of time and effort into it, and we have it down to a fine art. But this is like just everyone's being thrown in at the deep end, and it's really, really difficult to get a car around the track here with minimal practice. So full credit to these guys for giving it a go, but it's not easy, and I think the lap times are probably going to show that as well.
Yeah, they certainly will. We'll see the first come across. Actually, we have got the first from Deva Subaru. It's at 2:03.8. I'm not sure how that stacks up next to you guys.
About 5 seconds off.
Right, okay, yeah. That's not bad for a first effort. As I say, it's not in any sims, really, other than RENNSPORT. So it's not a circuit that you actually will have driven on other sims either. Piazza currently second. I think you were right about that spin. Nicholas Anton into second position now. 2:12 from him. Huduk is going to come out the final corner now and go somewhere similar. Qualified through the second semi-final, remember, through that top 5. now goes over the start-finish line. So 2:17.5, that puts him into 4th position. Dragon 42 seconds off in the first sector. I think had to sort something out as well as having a spin, and is still slow, actually serving a slowdown penalty, it looks like, on the way through this sort of back straightish section before you get into the fast left and right-hander at the very end of it. Time gaps certainly reflect the difficulty of this circuit, but who's to say that likes of Sobrero won't make a mistake over the course of this race either? It's very easy to do.
Yeah. And we've seen Jeddah will always throw up surprises and controversy and drama as well. It's not a long run down to the first corner. Bearing in mind as well, this will be the first time that we see a standing start at Jeddah. I don't think we've seen that before. So, at least from what we know with F1, it's a very short run. So anything can happen. Someone can miss their braking point and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose and anything can happen from there.
And if I remember, even from the World Cup, from the professional guys, and you know it well, it was always somebody had an incident through turn 1 and 2 every time, because it is so difficult on lap 1. Why is it so prone to those opening lap incidents here?
The main reason is it's very wide down the pit straight, and then it pinches in the middle of turn 1 and 2. So all of a sudden you're 4 wide and you're like kind of comfortable. So, okay, well, we know it's going to tighten up, but no one wants to back out because we're big professional sim racers who refuse to back out for any reason ever. And then all of a sudden we're all pointing backwards. So that's why it happens. And hopefully these guys will sort of show us how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, let's hope so. As the lights come on here for the final at the SimRacing Expo in Dortmund, the RENNSPORT stand daily competition is underway for the final time, and they get away cleanly at least. It is a short run, as you say, in towards turn number 1, and Sobrero takes that opening apex nicely indeed as well. They get single file, in fact, taking it cautiously, knowing the dangers. Huddock with a little bit of contact there with one of the Mercedes that, oh no, didn't quite go all the way around. 3 wide nearly with one of the Porsche, 2 of the Porsches there as well. It's Mihal Dragan who's on the outside line coming into this tight first sector. It's an especially tight corner as well, but they all get through cleanly. They have indeed shown you how it's done. They get through nicely through the first chicane at least.
Yeah, certainly have. That honestly doesn't surprise me because everyone, I think, is sort of just trying to get a feel for it, and they're not trying to just sort of bull away through. David with the clean start, which was, I think, sort of the big thing for him. As long as he was able to do that, I think he can almost sort of relax now, and it's all about not making a big mistake for him. That being said, he could still do that, but he's already got a 2.2 second lead, so it's looking pretty good for him, as we see still really good side-by-side battle here between Dragan and Sucevic here for 7th and 8th.
Well, Sucevic has gone for the Porsche this time round rather than the BMW. I'm not sure whether he's chosen these. Oh, a contact! Dragan has hit Sucevic into the right-hander, and they both use that little bit of tarmac there on the exit. Yanis Albert unfortunately comes to a complete stop as well. Not sure what's happened to him. Yeah, just going to a stop weirdly there and carries on in 9th position. But this is the fight really from 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Prizes available for the top 3, by the way, here today. Not only the leader, David Sobrero, so Nicholas Anton, Marcel Piazza and Dave Maximin all able to fight here, side by side and outside for Piazza. As they come into the final turn 27. On this racetrack, Anton goes, into a spin. And a very good bit of avoiding driving from Marcel Piazza. But he gets straight into Huddock, who was coming around the corner at the time as well. Spiegel will take those couple of places, but it's a spin through the final corner, which frees those 2 Mercedes.
Yeah, it's so difficult to get that final corner correct. You want to commit hard on the way in. It's a massive stop coming off the previous chicane and all the way down towards the final corner. And if you overcook it, it just keeps falling away from you. So as you turn in, you feel like, yeah, I'm trying to get to the apex, and it just lets go on you. Carl keeps sliding, and then you'll end up sort of pointing sideways across the track. So that's really unfortunate there, but that's the jungle at Jeddah, I would say.
Such a difficult place to race side by side, and don't forget these guys, some of them will be racing it for the first time, so getting used to it as they go along as well. But just watching over Maximin's shoulder at the moment here at the venue, the way he just took the end of the first sector there, through that corner there, just as Spiegel was coming through. The way that, obviously, the professional guys, you just have those inside tyres over the curb just far enough so that you're not breaking any rules, but you are maximising the corner as well. You just saw signs of him doing that as well, which is always a very good sign. Obviously, the speed comes later, but positioning the car the right line shows that, you know, you've been following, perhaps been watching some of you in the professional competitions and learning a few lines as well, because it's that's exactly the way to do that first sector, just dancing that tightrope between getting a penalty and going fast.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's Dragon's going round again there, unfortunately. So not quite going for him as well here as it did at Spa, but hopefully he can sort of recover a few positions from there. But yeah, that first sector is really interesting to try and get right. It's a pure rhythm and flow section. If you get any one part of it wrong, it messes up the entire rest of the sequence, and it's very hard to then place the car exactly where you want to after making any sort of error. So, but yes, we're absolutely on the ragged edge through every single one of these corners, and car placement isn't easy. So yeah, these guys are all very good drivers, don't get me wrong. It's just, you know, a different platform and a different environment for them, and so, you know, mistakes are likely, but yeah, they're all good drivers, and that's why they're here so far.
Spiegel down the inside of the final corner there makes it up to 5th place, ahead of Hudak, I think, who gets straight back in the slipstream again and fight straight back again down in towards turn number 1 on the outside line this time. Maybe has a chance here. Whoa, that's very late on the brakes from somebody in the background who went careering into the turn 1 tyre barriers and will be further down than 7th, which is where they were at the time. That was not the line in towards turn number 1, certainly. It's a big stop there, a big braking zone as well. You've got to pick it right, otherwise you'll be going straight on. Spiegel gets the first sector wrong there as well and immediately loses 5th again. Yeah,
into T1, the braking point's just after the 150 board, so if you've maybe just lost sight of that and just lost focus ever so slightly, then yeah, it's very easy to completely mess up the braking zone. Oh, and around we go there. Not quite able to see actually who that is, but Spiegel back up into P5. A long way though to go, sort of up towards that 3rd position, which is the last of the prize giving positions here.
And there is Piazza, who is just in behind Maximin, I think, who's in 2nd place. Yep, he is at the moment. So Mercedes actually covering the top 3 positions, which you'll be pleased to hear
more
about.
More than pleased.
See, that's the car you've used in R1 for the whole time, I think. Oh, not quite.
Not quite.
No.
Started off with the Audi R8 for the first season and first EWC, where it was actually Gamers 8 back then.
Yes.
It's weird how I almost feel old by saying that, but yes. And then we switched to the Mercedes after that.
So no excuses can be made about the strength of the Mercedes, although they're all very even, as we know, with the unique BOP system that we have in R1. I don't think replicated by any other series, but I think it's worked quite well over the years, the way that you can keep the manufacturers so close together. But Sobrero is still leading by a very long way out front at the moment.
Yeah, he is. It's a pretty comfortable lead for him. He's not making any major mistakes here, and he probably has the pace on everyone. So, providing that there are no issues or dramas for him, then he should be able to wrap this up in a couple of laps' time. But still all to play for a little bit further back, 2nd and 3rd. You know, fairly close together as well, so it remains to be seen sort of how the rest of the podium shakes out, and that's obviously still where some prizes are given out as well. So once David out front sort of looks pretty comfortable here and isn't in too much jeopardy, there's still plenty up for grabs here.
Obviously, we know David Sobrero from I don't know if he calls himself a professional sim racer or not. Certainly in terms of, I don't think he's a full-time sim racer, but he's been sim racing for a very long time and is very good at it as well. Leads by a long way, and I think has done some RENNSPORT laps in the past, if I'm not mistaken. As Nathan Maxman right in front of us goes into the wall just through that chicane that Sobrero just passed. He's dropped to 3rd place as a result, and Piazza moves up into 2nd. I was just about to mention, Nathan, I've just been told that his 3rd ever lap on RENNSPORT was the time that got him into 2nd place on our leaderboard. So the 18 drivers who we've seen here this afternoon all qualified via the Hotlap system, where everybody can come and have a go here if you're at the SimRacing Expo this weekend in Dortmund, and where you can't qualify for this competition, you can have a go on the rigs again after this event if you'd like to here in Dortmund. But third ever lap on RENNSPORT, second fastest of anybody, only a couple of seconds back from David Sobrero, and you can see Nathan actually improving all the time because he's certainly not a couple of seconds a lap off of him anymore, but after all, this is his 15th lap or something like that on RENNSPORT.
Yeah, it's super impressive stuff. I certainly wasn't that competitive whenever I immediately jumped into the platform. It did take me a bit of time to get up to speed. So to jump straight in, especially again, it's a completely different and alien environment for him. Yeah, it's super impressive stuff. And as long as he doesn't make a further sort of larger error, he should remain in the top 3, and we'll pick up a prize for it.
Let's hope that for his sake the final lap is a clean one in the next few moments as the drivers now make their way through the end of the first sector. David Sobrero is out front by some distance at the moment, and he's on his way. He's just coming to the bottom end of the circuit now. He'll be on his way back very shortly, and he'll be winning this race, you'd imagine, as well. Maxman closing on Piazza. He did just go over the track limit boundaries there, but a couple of opportunities left for him maybe to take that second place away.
Yeah, it certainly is. So coming through the Bank Terrapin, turn 13 it is. And still just about in slipstream range, or could get into with a strong sort of middle sector chicane here. So all to play for here for the fight for second, but it looks like David Sobrero could have an incident in this final sector and still come away with a comfortable victory.
You never know. Maxman now onto the back of Piazza as well as they come through this final section. There they are in the 2 Mercedes. Without that spin, you'd say Maxman would be easily second, but is he going to get it anyway? On the brakes, into the fast left-hander they come now. Over the curves a little bit more, he's on the inside, doesn't want to pass off the circuit, of course, that won't be allowed. Piazza runs around the outside and keeps the position for the moment. It's going to have to be an almighty lunge if he wants to get through into that final corner. But out front, David Sobrero is going to run up towards the line, and he is going to win our daily competition here on RENNSPORT at the SimRacing Expo in Dortmund. A thumbs up to the camera. He is the winner here on the Sunday. Congratulations to him, and a round of applause as well. And out of the final corner, Maxman does indeed outdrag Piazza to the line. A great finish from him to get up into second position, passing him on the very final lap, just in front of Piazza, who finishes third. A great final and a deserving final winner as well.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Sobrero sort of showed his class there and sort of his strength, and didn't put a foot wrong outside of the qualifying at Hockenheim, and has been convincing ever since.
So David Sobrero is our winner. He's practicing again as the battle for sixth place just comes over the line. Sucevic is going to take that one just in front of Hudak, who finishes in the 7th place. Yanis Albert and Mihai Dragan will come across the line in a moment as well to round out the 9 drivers. But I'll go over to chat to David when he stopped practicing in a moment, because he's still going, enjoying himself. But David, congratulations on winning the final here on Sunday. How was that race for you?
Thank you. The race was good. I'm still a bit sick from yesterday, so my performance was probably not as good as I wanted to. But again, clean start, clean race. I mean, I tapped the walls sometimes, but nothing major, so yeah, it was good.
How much driving on Jeddah have you done before this?
It's not my best track, but I've practiced a lot because for me it's the hardest one here. There's no margin for error here, so you really have to push hard and be perfect, and yeah, that's it.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. That's David Sobrero who wins the final. Nathan, second place for you. Congratulations on that. Tell us about that last lap battle with yourself and Marcel.
It was a mistake from me on lap 4, which allowed him past, but I just had to push, dig deep, put him on the last corner.
I was hearing during that race that you hadn't driven RENNSPORT before. I was spoken to you about that, but one thing I do want to know is how you managed to get to grips with it so quickly, because you're racing against some very competitive sim racers here on a sim you've not used before. How are you getting to grips with it so quickly?
I play a lot of different sims. I pretty much play all of them. So, you know, adapting is something that I've learned how to do well. I feel like I have a good feel for these things, especially with the feedback that I get from the wheel and the sound as well. I feel like I always know what's going on, so it kind of makes it easy for me to adapt.
Congratulations on that, and finishing in P2 in the final.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. That is Nathan Maxman, who finishes second. Where's Marcel? I've lost him. Third place. Here's there, Marcel. Congratulations on. Sorry, come here in front of the camera. Congratulations on finishing third. How was that last battle with Nathan there at the end?
Yeah, it was a bit. How do I say it? It just went off, and then I thought, okay, save P2, yeah, and then I just let it go, and it was too slow, and he came back, and then it was quite, yeah, I made a mistake in the last corner, and he just could go through. So congratulations to him and to P1.
How are you finding RENNSPORT and the Jeddah circuit you were just driving on there, which not a lot of people know very well?
Yeah, that's what I thought, because what do we race here? First, I thought we raced Hockenheim, then we raced Spa, and then we raced Jeddah. I was quite surprised, but I know Jeddah pretty good, so for me it was really good to drive. For the other persons, I don't know, but here P1, also in the last race, P1, he made a really good job, and yeah, deserved it.
Congratulations on finishing third, and thanks for joining us this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much. That's Marcel Piazza, who finishes third in our final. I think we're ready for the prize giving, are we? We are ready. So let's do it. Third to first or first to third? P3 first. Okay. So first of all, we're finishing in third position in our final on Sunday here at the SimRacing Expo in Dortmund. It's a round of applause for Marcel Piazza, finishes third here on Sunday. And in second place, after passing him on the last lap, it is Nathan Maxman. And the winner here on Sunday, it is David Sobrero. And thanks very much to Playseat for his first place prize as well. Congratulations, David Sobrero, for the win. And after finishing in second place, Nathan Maxman will win one as well from Playseat. Sobrero was the fastest in the leaderboard and indeed the winner in the final. So second place will also get this prize from the Playseat. So congratulations to both of them. And indeed, thanks to everybody, all of our 18 drivers in the Hotlap competition, and indeed everybody who didn't qualify. Thanks to them for participating here on Sunday. Well, that's just about it from us here on RENNSPORT at the SimRacing Expo in Dortmund. As far as the competitions go, anyway, the rigs here, the 11 rigs behind me, are still free to play for the rest of the Sim Expo. So if you are here and you do want to give RENNSPORT a go, or indeed give them another go, if you've been here already, then do please come down. All 11 rigs will be available to have a go. Yeah, it's great to get an insight into RENNSPORT. Of course, launching 25 days time with crossplay on Xbox, PlayStation and PC. Lots of DLCs to come and lots of new features as well, with single player now available, championship mode within that as well. A lot to look forward to, a lot to get involved with here with RENNSPORT coming up very, very soon. So make sure you stay across all of that. Follow us on social media for all of the updates and new announcements as well. But I hope you've enjoyed our coverage this weekend from the Sim Expo in Dortmund. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside Arjuna Kankipati the last 2 days, and Jamie Fluke, a big thanks to him for joining us today as well. A big thanks to you for watching as well. We will see you again very soon here from the Sim Expo. It's goodbye in Dortmund. Come and have a go on one of our rigs for the rest of the day. Thanks very much.